Daughter, I know your nights have been filled with echoes that are not mine. I saw you sit in that kitchen chair with the light off, feeling the invisible weight of words hurled against your destiny. You came here today because you can no longer bear the weariness of trying to prove who you are to people who have chosen not to understand you. You desperately seek that I lift you above the opinions of others and the fear that paralyzes your steps. And I stopped what I was doing on the throne to tell you. I heard you. There is a secret kept in my silence that will silence all the tongues that rise up against you, but you need to understand that your freedom will not come from their approval, but from my voice that now calls you to rise higher. I know the trembling in your hands when you open that app, or when you enter a place where you feel the judging eyes as if they knew your story. They see the surface, but I see what you endured to get here. This message is not a coincidence. This is our appointed meeting. I will show you, point by point on this journey, how to remove these labels of pain and how to walk with your head held high, even when the world around you whispers otherwise. At the end of this meeting, I will whisper a specific phrase to your heart, a spiritual key that will be your seal of victory. The one who remains with me until the last second and writes this phrase in the comments will receive a prophetic blessing that I have reserved for this time of restoration. If this word of mine is touching the center of your pain now, speak to me. Tell your Father your name. Write what country and city you are listening to me from now, and also say what time your clock shows at this moment when my presence envelops you. I want you to understand that you are not alone amidst this noise. Now, I want you to let your heart overflow. Write below, as a sincere cry from someone who desires to be filled only by me. Lord my God, I am here. I subscribe to this channel because I love you and want to hear you above any other voice. Let this comment be your first step out of the prison of fear. Stay with me until the end, for I have a clear answer to give you and a word of power that will be your refuge. You spent too much time trying to fit into molds I never created for you. You felt small, as if the sky were made of bronze and your prayers didn't reach the ceiling of that empty room. But I tell you, what they think of you doesn't change what I feel for you. If the world has turned its back on you, my embrace has become even wider. I have prepared for you a path of elevation where criticism will no longer have the power to hurt you. Keep listening, for I haven't yet shown you everything I have prepared for your new beginning. What is your soul trying to say to God today? In the face of so many voices trying to diminish you, write in the comments your word of surrender, sealing the beginning of your liberation. I rise. I saw the invisible weight that bends your shoulders when you think no one is watching. There's a kind of weariness that sleep doesn't cure, an exhaustion born from carrying day after day the expectations of others as if it were a prison sentence. I was there that late afternoon when the sun was setting and you felt a strange tightness in your throat, a knot that wouldn't let you breathe properly, just imagining what they would say if you finally said no. You've lived to be a reflection of what others expect, and that has turned your life into a stage where you are the only audience crying backstage. How many times have you returned to your room, closed the door and felt the weight of the silence in the room, as if the walls were demanding a perfection you no longer have the strength to sustain? This desire to be accepted, to be validated, to not be the subject of malicious comments among friends or at the family table, has become a chain that binds your feet to the ground. You look in the mirror and see the weariness in your eyes, a shadow that makeup can no longer hide, because your soul is burdened with voices that are not mine. You feel as if you are walking on a tightrope, where any false move will bring the merciless judgment of those who have never felt the weight of your struggles. But listen to what your Father tells you now. You were not created to be a trophy on anyone's shelf, nor to be the repository of others' frustrations. The world is a master at pointing the finger, but is incapable of extending a hand to carry the burden it imposes. You are afraid of disappointing people, but I ask you with all my love, how long will you continue to disappoint yourself and the purpose I wrote for your story? For it is written, "Cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved." It is there, recorded for eternity in Psalm 55 verse 22. This verse is not just a pretty phrase, it is a command of liberation for this very moment. When I ask you to cast your burden on me, I am asking you to surrender to me those opinions that hurt you, those looks that diminish you, and that fear of not being enough for the world. If you allow me to hold what weighs you down, you will see that your shoulders will naturally rise. Human opinion is like the wind. It blows strongly today, but disappears tomorrow. My word concerning you, however, is an unshakable rock. I have not yet shown you what happens when you stop listening to the whispers of the earth to focus on the thunder of my voice within you. There is a secret that I have prepared for the next stage of our conversation, something that will change the way you see every person who has tried to diminish you until today. Before we continue, let your heart speak to me. What has occupied more space in your mind lately? My promise or what people say about you? If this touch on your soul was real, leave your sign of gratitude and write here in the comments your word of liberation, declaring that the weight no longer belongs to you. Light soul. Daughter, as I teach you to walk above the dark clouds of human judgment, I observe the silent movement of your heart, which desires to reciprocate the care you receive on this journey. There is a powerful force in the act of detaching from what is earthly to invest in what is eternal, transforming your relief into hope for other souls who still walk in darkness. If it is possible for you, only if you feel that this is the moment for a step of faith, transform your gratitude into a seed of love for this channel that carries my voice to the ends of the earth. Consider my love and the immense sacrifice of my Son Jesus, and contribute using the digital address you find in the description of this video and in the first pinned comment. There, you will find the sacred place where your offering of love can be deposited and consecrated before the Creator of all things. You can contribute any amount you wish. If you feel a different value within you, simply type what is suggested to your spirit. Always remember, only what fits within the peace of your heart. I receive each gesture with infinite love. The material magnitude of the offering doesn't matter, for what truly matters is the purity and sincerity with which it is given, since what is little for you may be much for someone who receives the comfort of this word on the other side of the world. Whoever contributes any amount with a sincere heart, please remember to include your name and city with your contribution. Because on the first day of the following month, in a unique and special video on our channel and page Divine Love, the Voice of God, your name will be remembered, mentioned in deep gratitude, and covered with divine blessings, released in prayer for our entire community. For it is written in Luke chapter 6 verse 38, "Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use it will be measured to you." Every offering made in faith is a precious seed placed before me, your Lord, and I will not fail to see any of them bear fruit in due time for your harvest. I see the secret of your gesture, and I will reward you in the sight of all with my provision and my peace that surpasses all understanding. Remain with me until the end of this message, because I still want to touch the depths of your heart with my voice and show you the new horizon I have prepared for your feet. Have you already felt that your silent actions have touched the Father's heart? Write in the comments your affirmation of planting and trust. I so love. Have you ever felt the biting cold of that early morning when the idea of starting over burned in your chest, but the ice of fear kept you immobile under the covers? I was there. I saw when you thought about starting that project, about seeking that new path, or about simply telling the truth to those who hurt you. But the question, "What will they think?" rose like suffocating smoke in your throat, drying your voice. Paralysis is not a lack of will, my daughter. It is the excess of human voices occupying the place that should only be mine in your heart. You have become a hostage to judges who do not know the court of your soul, and this has stolen the years I planned for your fullness. I saw the tremor in your eyelids that afternoon when you tried to smile while listening to a comment disguised as advice, but which was actually just the poison of envy trying to paralyze your feet. You stopped. The world went on. But I didn't give up on you. You look around seeking approval, as if the value of a jewel depended on the opinion of someone who doesn't understand precious stones. The fear of man sets snares. It creates invisible traps that make you stumble over your own dreams. While you wait for them to give you permission to be who I created you to be, life slips through the cracks of your fear. For it is written in the book of Proverbs chapter 29 verse 25, "The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe." Do you perceive the depth of this truth? The fear of people is a trap, a net that holds you captive in a small version of yourself. But the security I offer is firm ground, where you can run without stumbling. I called you to freedom, not to be a slave to appearances. I know the weariness of maintaining the facade that everything is all right, while your spirit cries out for help. I see when you avoid posting something, saying something, or wearing something just to avoid being the target of gossip. But I ask you, who are they before the one who holds the stars with the tips of his fingers? At this very moment, I am extending my hand to pull you out of this swamp of uncertainty. I want you to feel the warmth of my presence dissipating this coldness of paralysis. But to rise higher with me, you will need to release the anchors that bind you to earthly judgment. You are afraid of being criticized, but I tell you that even the stones they throw at you, I can transform into stepping stones for your ascent. There are still secrets I haven't revealed to you, labels you carry without even realizing they were stuck to your skin by human hands, and I will begin to tear them off right now. But first, tell me one thing. In the depths of your silence, what is your heart pleading with it to have the courage to do today? If you felt that your soul needs this jolt of courage, leave your sign of surrender and write in the comments your declaration of war against paralysis. I will move forward. I know that walking against the wind of the world's voices can leave deep wounds, scars that only time and my closeness can soothe. Sometimes the noise is so great that you find it difficult to distinguish what is my will and what is merely the fear of man trying to mold you. Therefore, if your spirit yearns to delve deeper into my presence and find a safe haven for your thoughts, I have prepared something special for you, a journey of light that I wrote with all my zeal for my beloved children, the digital book entitled Divine Love Devotional, The Voice of God. This guide was made to be your constant companion, acting as a daily balm for your weary heart and whispering my will in each silent morning, when the world has not yet awakened to judge you. You can find it by accessing the address I left in the description of this moment and in the first pinned comment. However, if at this moment you cannot embrace this invitation, do not allow guilt to reach you. Stay here with me, for I will continue to strengthen your soul through this message of hope. For it is written in Psalm 119, verse 105, "Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light for my path, so that your soul may rest in complete clarity, and there may be no shadow of doubt. Know that as soon as you complete your registration, the path to this encounter will arrive directly in the inbox of the email address you provided. There I have provided each detailed instruction, step by step, so that we can begin our daily walk with order and peace. This devotional will be like a gentle remedy for your lonely nights and a beacon when the opinions of others try to darken your horizon. Take a deep breath now, my daughter. Feel the weight of the world's expectations dissipating before the clarity of my word. I did not call you to confusion, but to the constancy of a love that never fails. Continue steadfast on this journey, for what I have to reveal to you next is the strength you lack to break the chains of what others think of you, now that you have heard my invitation. In the depths of your silence, what is your heart pleading with God at this moment? Write in the comments your promise of constant searching, sealing this commitment between us. I want to hear you. Come closer, for the moment has arrived for me to touch the scars you hide beneath rehearsed smiles. I see when you look in the mirror, in the dim light of your room, and you can no longer see the woman I planned before the foundation of the world. Your eyes seek my light, but end up stumbling over the labels that human hands have stuck to your skin. You carry invisible labels that say, forgotten, insufficient, difficult, or outdated. I saw when these words were spoken, some in a fighting tone, others in venomous whispers behind your back, and I saw how you accepted them as if they were your own identity. The air in your room became heavy, as if the oxygen had run out, and you felt that coldness in the nape of your neck that comes from the shame of not being what they wanted you to be. Today, I am here to perform surgery on your soul. With the same delicacy with which I wove each cell of your body, I now begin to remove those labels, one by one. Feel my touch removing the bitter glue of failure that they tried to impose on you when that project didn't work out, or when that relationship crumbled. I am cleansing the stain of rejection that makes you enter places apologizing for existing. You are not what they say, you are what I decree. And my decree upon you is one of honor, restoration, and a future that no man can cancel with a malicious opinion. For it is written in the first book of Samuel, chapter 16, verse 7, "The Lord does not see as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart." While the world is lost in the surface of your flaws or the appearance of your weariness, I am immersed in the depths of your heart, where I keep the promises that are yet to blossom. If man looks at what is outside, he only sees what is fleeting, but I, who am the Alpha and the Omega, see the strength that I myself have placed in you to endure the nights of weeping without losing faith. At that moment when you felt the weight of silence in your empty kitchen, believing that your life had lost its value, I was counting your tears and transforming each one into pearls of wisdom for your next level. Do not allow voices that would never die for you to define who you are. I gave my only son so that you could be called mine, and that title no one can tear away. You are my inheritance, my beloved, and today I clothe you in a new garment, where the only name written is chosen. Before you take the next step in this conversation, tell your Father, in the depths of your silence, what is the label that has hurt your soul the most and that you now surrender to me? If you felt the weight of labels falling to the ground, like this message as a sign that you accept my truth, share it with that friend who also feels diminished by the world, and write in the comments your new identity, sealing your liberation. I am a daughter. Sometimes the loudest noise that hurts you doesn't come from shouts or open fights, but from the subtle whisper of malice disguised as concern. I see you at that dinner table, or during your work break, where the clinking of cutlery seems to echo the emptiness you feel, when you realize that the people around you are more interested in pointing out your mistakes than in understanding the weight of your sacrifices. There's a heavy silence that settles in your chest when you realize that your name has been used for entertainment by those you helped the most. You feel that lump in your throat, the heat rising to your face, and the deep desire to disappear, to find a place where no one points a finger at you. But it is precisely in the midst of this deafening noise that I rise as your faithful advocate. I want to teach you the art of silence that comes from heaven. There is a peace that I give that makes no sense to the world, a serenity that allows you to look at the storm of opinions and not get wet with their poison. When others speak ill of you, my silence about your life is my greatest protection. I don't need to shout to defend you, for my truth about who you are is so powerful that in due time it will silence all malicious tongues. You have sought firm ground in the approval of men, but the shifting sands of their opinions will always leave you insecure. The only ground that does not give way, the only foundation that does not crack, is my approval. If I am pleased with you, if I know the integrity of your heart in the early morning tears, what does it matter what those who do not know the brilliance of your tears say? For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 26, verse 3, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you." Do you understand the promise I make to you now? If you choose to fix your thoughts on my voice, if you choose to trust in what I have written about you, I will envelop you in such profound peace that the noise of the world will be just a distant sound, incapable of disturbing your sleep. I am building a fortress around your emotions. While they waste time trying to diminish you, I am busy preparing you for something so great that their opinion will become irrelevant. You no longer need to fight to be understood. You only need to rest in the fact that you are known by me. But there is still something I need to show you, something that happens when you stop looking down at the mud they throw and start looking up to where I am lifting you up right now. There is a movement that heaven is making to take you out of the reach of these voices, and what I will reveal to you next will forever change the way you see your circumstances. Before we continue, tell me here in the depths of your intimacy, what is the noise that has been trying to steal your peace the most this week? If you feel my peace beginning to flood your room now, leave your sign of faith, share this light with someone living under the weight of judgment, and write in the comments your response to the noise of the world, sealing your safety in me, my refuge. I saw the exact moment when the weight of those conversations pierced the screen and struck your chest like a stone thrown in the dark. You felt that cold feeling in your stomach, a nausea that wouldn't go away, while the waves of contempt crashed against your dignity. At that moment, sitting on the edge of the bed, your eyes fixed on nothing, it seemed that everyone had a verdict on your life, except yourself. But look at me now. I am descending to the bottom of this abyss of opinions to find you. I will not only pull you out of the water, I will place you in a place so high that the noise of the waves will no longer be able to wet you. Feel the warmth of my hands enveloping yours, still cold from the shock of betrayal or mockery. I am lifting you above that group of people, above that family gathering where your name was dragged through the mud, above every malicious comment that tried to drown you in shame. You look down now and see that what once seemed like a raging ocean, seen from the heights of my grace, is nothing more than a puddle of mud that the sun of my favor will soon dry up. The perspective of heaven changes everything that earth tried to decree upon you. For it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 40, verse 2, "He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand." This is the movement I am making in your story at this very moment. I am lifting you out of this mud and mire, which are the bitter words of those who do not know your worth, and placing your feet on the rock that is me. While you were down there, struggling to breathe, you could only see the mud. Now that I lift you up, you can see the horizon of peace that I have drawn for your future. The rock is firm, my daughter. It does not sway according to people's moods. It does not crack when someone decides to criticize or exclude you. In me you have ground that no man can dig up to make you fall again. Do you notice how the air is lighter up here? Here, the poison of whispers doesn't reach. Here, gossip loses its power and importance. I am preparing your steps so that you may walk with authority, no longer as someone who flees from criticism, but as someone who knows their destiny and their Father. You no longer need to shout to be heard or explain yourself to be accepted, for your new positioning will speak for you. But don't think the journey ends at this peak. I still have a special shield to give you, armor that will protect your heart from future arrows, before giving you the ultimate key to your victory. Tell me something, with all the sincerity that only you and I know. When was the last time you felt truly safe, without fear of what life's next blow might be? If you feel that my arm has reached you and lifted you from the bottom of this well today, leave your sign of gratitude if this word touched your soul. Share this encounter with someone who is also drowning in the sadness of contempt, and write in the comments your new position before the kingdom, on the rock. I know that even here on high where my arms support you, the echoes of the arrows launched still try to find a crack in your chest. Have you ever felt that physical pang, a real tightness in the center of your chest, right after hearing a phrase laden with malice? It's as if an invisible poison runs through your veins, stealing your color, taking the shine from your eyes and making you feel small again. I saw when you received that text message and your heart raced, not with joy, but with anguish, and you spent the rest of the afternoon reliving each bitter word, as if you were chewing glass. But listen to what your Father tells you now. I did not bring you here so that you would remain vulnerable to the attack of those who do not have my spirit. At this very moment, I am clothing you with armor that was not forged by human hands. It is not a protection of cold, heavy metal, but a shield made of my light and my truth. When the poison of words tries to strike you from now on, it will encounter an insurmountable barrier. I am giving you the gift of discernment, so that when you hear an unjust criticism, you will no longer receive it as a truth about yourself, but as a symptom of the bitterness of the speaker. You will learn to look at those who attack you with mercy, not with fear, because you will know that your soul is kept in a place where hatred has no access. For it is written in the book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 17, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord." Read carefully what I have recorded for this day of yours. No weapon forged, no word planned, no plan hatched in the dark against your peace will succeed. This is your inheritance as a daughter. You no longer need to spend your nights trying to defend yourself in your thoughts, constructing imaginary dialogues to prove your innocence. My justice proceeds from me, and I am the judge who knows the truth of each of your steps. When you accept this armor, you receive the right to walk in silence, letting the outcome of your life condemn the tongues that judged you. Now feel the weight lifting from your mind. Feel my protection like a warm cloak enveloping you, filtering everything that reaches you. From today onward, if the word does not come from me, it will have no power to take root in your heart. I am sealing your ears to the whispers of the enemy and opening your perception to the sound of my voice. You are protected, guarded, and shielded under my gaze. But there is still a place, a horizon of total freedom that I want to show you, where fear will no longer have a seat at your table. Before we move on to this final vision, tell your father, what have you been doing lately to protect your heart from this poison that comes from outside? If you accept this divine protection over your home and your mind today, share this light with someone who is also under attack, and write in the comments your word of authority, sealing your spiritual shield, living shield. Look at the horizon I am opening before you now. Can you see it? Where the sun touches the shoreline and the colors blend in an embrace that only heaven knows how to give, there is a place I have prepared where fear has no reserved seat at your table. I brought you this way, step by step, so that you could feel the wind of freedom on your face, dissipating that musty smell of the prisons you placed yourself in to fit into the lives of small people. I see when you take that deep sigh at the end of the day, a sigh that carries the exhaustion of having been too strong, of having pretended not to hear what you heard, of having swallowed your tears so as not to give satisfaction to those who want to see you on the ground. But this time of hiding your brilliance for fear of others' shadows is coming to an end. I see the horizon of your life without the shackles of what if. What if they speak? What if they distance themselves? What if I am left alone? Listen carefully. What I have for you in this new time is such a dense companionship of my presence that the absence of those who do not add to your life will be a relief, not a loss. You will walk through corridors, streets, and rooms with an authority that springs from within, a peace that people will notice just by looking at you. They will wonder what has changed in you, why you no longer react to provocations, why your smile no longer trembles in the face of criticism. And the answer will be the secret that we two built here. You finally understood that the only voice that governs your destiny is mine. For it is written in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind." This spirit of fortitude that I have poured out upon you is not to make you hard or bitter, but to give you the temper of steel that has passed through the fire and come out purer. I gave you love so that you may forgive your tormentors, without allowing them to hurt you again, and moderation so that your thoughts are no longer no man's land, but a garden governed by me. You will no longer wake up with that tightness in your chest, feeling the bronze sky, wondering who will be the next to point the finger at you. The horizon that awaits you is made of decisions made in peace, of firm steps towards the purpose I designed before you were born. I am clearing your vision. Where before you saw only their judgment, now you will see my favor opening doors that no one can close. Where before there was the fear of loneliness, now there will be the fullness of my friendship. You are crossing the border, my daughter. The territory of fear is behind you, and what lies ahead is land of conquest and rest. But there is still one last offering, a key that I promised at the beginning of this conversation, a phrase that will seal everything we have experienced today, and that will be your banner of victory against any opposition. Before we reach our final destination, tell me deep in your soul, what is the first thing you will do when you feel that the fear of people has finally lost all power over you? If you can already see this horizon of peace opening up for your life, leave your sign of surrender. Share this hope with those who still live in the shadows, and write in the comments your vision of the future, declaring the end of slavery. New road. We have reached the point where the sunlight of my truth dispels the last shadows of fear that surrounded you. You heard my voice, and for a moment the world outside ceased to matter. I saw every beat of your heart as we journeyed this path, and I saw when your soul finally breathed a sigh of relief upon realizing that my gaze upon you is the only one that defines your destiny. Do not worry any more about the judges of the earth, for the Judge of all eternity has called you by name and declared you free. The weight you carried at the beginning of this message no longer belongs to you. It remained by the wayside, at the foot of the cross. Remember that as soon as we began this encounter, I promised you that I would deliver a phrase to your heart, a whispered word that would serve as your key to ultimate liberation from human opinions and fear. The moment has come for you to take possession of this truth. When the world shouts that you are incapable, when criticism tries to paralyze you, or when the fear of the future knocks on your door in the cold early mornings, you will raise your voice and declare with all the authority of heaven, "I can do all things through him who strengthens me." This is not just a quote, it is the decree of your victory, based on what is written in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13. This strength does not come from you, but from me, who dwells in you. Take this key now. Write this sacred phrase here in the comments as an act of faith and surrender, sealing forever that the voices of the earth have lost their power over your soul. As you write, feel the chains breaking and your identity being restored. Our journey does not end here, for my love for you is an endless ocean. I still have many secrets to reveal to you, and many wounds to heal in other moments of intimacy. If you feel that your soul needs to continue drinking from this source so as not to be shaken by what others say, visit our playlist of prophetic messages on the channel, where I have left other signs prepared, especially for each of your days. Stay with me, for the horizon I have drawn for you is infinitely greater than anything you have ever seen. Rest now in my embrace and feel the peace that the world cannot give. The fear is gone, and my strength in you has awakened to never sleep again. Walk with your head held high, for I am your Father and your eternal guide.